So hi all, and happy Saturday here. So we're back for week 31. It's just amazing how we're moving along. Every time I say the next week's number, I stop and kind of laugh, as you guys are noticing now, because it's like amazing. We're just like moving along. Remember when it's week 1 and week 2, we have 52 to go. It's exciting, but it's like also nice to see the progress, right? So week 31. Now this is a good topic. I think it's a good time for it as well. It's perfection. And that's something every creative artist, anyone who's done anything, even anything in life, it's this, this idea of perfection, trying to get it right, do it the best we can, and then really heavy self-criticism when we don't think we're meeting the mark. So I like to say, perfection, your journey is exactly as it should be. That's something I really had to discover, not only as an artist, but just as a human being, like regardless of where I want to be, where I think I should be, and what I should have done if I coulda, woulda, like my grandmother used to always say, if I coulda, woulda. It doesn't matter. I'm exactly where I get to be. It's exactly, where I should be. And the fact that you're even asking the questions about wanting to improve, that's good. That's exactly where we should be. And I think when we come to that place of comfort, then we can really do more about getting even further along to that perfect place that we can look up and say, yep, this is exactly where I should be now, that kind of thing. I realize that this can be an uncomfortable statement, not because we aren't fairly happy or comfortable with where we are right now and in this moment, but because we have come to understand that perfection is uncomfortably elusive and unattainable. And that's a good place to come. When you finally get to that wonderful place in your life where you say, you know what, wow, it's like always eluding me, this idea of perfection. However, we still have this tape that's going on in our back of our mind, like, oh, you could have done that better. Why? You should have done it like this. Why did you make that decision? So it's still going on, even though on an intellectual, and I think even an emotional level, we understand it's like no such thing as really perfection, is it? It's just doing the best you can do. So I want to talk about perfection this week because on a subconscious level, perfection is often one of the rudders that we use to steer our creative journey. So much so, it's laying there under the surface. I hear so many people who are followers in my community and creators and, those of us who are just enjoying the process of creating, still it's this undercurrent of comparison or, feeling like, wow, I missed the mark on this. And it's important to look at that rudder that's steering your ship right now. Like, what can we do about that, right? So controlling our creative decisions oftentimes without being aware of it. And this is what that idea of perfection does. It makes you put things down. It makes you keep on reworking and reworking and reworking until you're exhausted and still not happy. It makes you never get started sometimes. We can sit around and say, wow, I think I really need to learn this before I do that. And the learning this never seems to happen, and then we get a little upset about ourselves that we're not actually doing what we said we wanted to do, that kind of thing. It's a vicious cycle. It's the way we have been educated. We are products of a grading system that is an A+ being the goal, right? Awards, titles, socioeconomic status, all of these things are defined by outside forces. Yet our creative selves, our art, and the time we spend with ourselves should be free from all of this. In fact, the idea of comparison really doesn't have a place in the creative's world we built. So quite naturally, we can struggle with this learned behavior in our art rooms during our fun time. And the reason why comparison really doesn't have a place when it comes to things that you're creating, because only you can be creating exactly what you're creating. There's no others that can create something. It's like our signature. It's like our fingerprints, things like that. There's only one, and we really get to spend some time with that and realize that you're just a unique creative force, all of your own. And it's about the joy and the fun and the pleasure that comes with it. And that pleasure is worth its weight in gold, right? How do you, at the end of just a fun session in your studio, how do you put a dollar amount on that? how do you find yourself in a place that you can negotiate or barter with that? I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just unique, and it's that thing that raises our frequency and our happiness, and, you know, our emotional quotient just goes through the roof, you know, with joy and pleasure. So that's why, to me, this idea of perfection, it really doesn't exist in our art, in our creativity, because yes, we can hone our skills, we can become better at techniques and stuff that we want. That's just upping the levels of improvement. It's learning and adding on. It's not so much the idea of perfection. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I love jelly printing, and, you know, I'm looked at as a person who has a lot of unique ideas when it comes to jelly printing, which is why I have a following, and you guys are, you know, showing up and being a part of this community. But, you know, like, if I struggled to pull the perfect jelly print, I would drive myself crazy. It's just not happening. Every time I pull a print, there's 2 or 3 things I could literally, if not more, criticize instantly. But there's 30 things that I just love. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a place to even take ourselves. So this week, I want us to spend a little time asking yourself a few questions as you work in your art journal. Is perfection even possible? Now, these are literally questions I want you to think about and ask. And just scribble on a piece of paper to the side, or all the extra journaling spots and writing spots that we made in our journal. Go back and find some of those places and just journal some of these answers. That's why we've created writing spots in our journal, different places, so that we can come back and do some of this. So is perfection even possible? How do I respond to imperfection? Does the idea of perfection get in the way of my productivity? Does it cause me to be overly critical? Does this idea of perfection stop me from exploring what makes me happy? So really spend some time with these questions and allow yourself to feel what you feel, because exploring your emotions goes a long way towards opening your creative self and stepping into a flow of profound creativity. Take the time to remove this little critic that can hang out on our shoulders and tell her she's no longer needed in your art room right now. You know, send her on another mission. So continue to enjoy your creative time. Journal on what comes up for you as you continue in the joy of filling up your art journal. Yeah, so just spend time with those questions and jot, seriously think about them and just jot answers down. Don't overthink them or anything like that. And then this week we're going to come and we're going to do some mindless, mini collaging that I use all over my artwork. I thought it'd be a fun, mindless thing to do, and then it's something that we can put in our journal pages. So let me show you from last week. This is the one we did. Is this the one we did? And so we have this page. Really got into neutrals and monochromatics there. Love it. So I took a lot of the book pages that I used in jelly printing and what have you, and I as we were thinking about our color palette and all that good stuff, I just kind of allowed myself to play with these off-printed backgrounds that that I wouldn't have probably used anyhow, and that had colors that I probably wouldn't find in my artwork, like this purple and the blue. I mean, but this is one of my favorite collages out this series. It looks like a big harvest moon and sort of like a landscape, mountains there and sort of these mountains there. And this, I just really fell in love with this when I was done. It was like so unlike me in terms of the color palette, but I really like what was created there. So these are some more just collaging. And starting off with background papers that had particular colors in there that sort of started my color palette. So, there we have it. All right. Now we're going to be down on the table so we can start working on some of our little mini collages and then seeing how we'll work that into our journal for this week. All right, see you in a minute. All right, so before we actually get started on just making these mini collage bundles, that I love making these. I make them a lot of times just by the dozens when I'm, just listening to a podcast in the evening, when you just want to keep your hands active, but you're not into doing anything that requires a whole lot of thinking. I make these. So, but what I'm thinking is, remember these pages that I was showing you guys when we were doing the Gelli printing, that I used the sop up colors with when we were staining the papers and what have you. This is what they look like dry. And they are just the best. I mean, I think it's just a neat way to stain and create these really fun patterns. Oh, that's nice. Look at that one. Looks so tie-dyed. That we can use back in our collage. I think I'll use that right next. But they just have this neat, almost like sort of shibori or Japanese paper quality, because it's a thin tissue paper that's archival, so it does have a strength to it. I mean, look at that gold and everything on there. It's like when you open them up, they are such a surprise. So I love making these so I can use them back in my collage work. And so today we're going to use some of this. I'm going to start with this page. Love it. And I think I'll use this piece right here. So we're going to put this down. I'm going to tear it using, let me grab it. Sorry about that. I have one up here, my water brush, but I think the one down here actually has more water in it. All of that, no it doesn't. So what I oftentimes will do is just dip my pen in this water bottle that I keep on the desk just to kind of add fresh water to whatever I'm doing. And let's get this back in, something like that. And then just running the brush down, it just tears so nicely. Put this here. So across the bottom, do the same thing. You just get this nice, softly torn edge. Okay. So let's go ahead and get that down so that it can begin drying, because we're going to take one of those little collages that we're going to make, and we're going to apply it to this piece just like you would, like if you're making a really mini collage. Sorry if you hear the dogs in the background. They, well, actually, one's outside, so I don't know why. I think that was Kobe. I don't know why he was fussing, but anyway. We have dogs. Every now and then you're going to hear them in the background. I know I always still apologize, and you guys tell me, don't worry about it, but sometimes it can be a little shocking. Even me, when I'm working and I hear them, I stop. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Where they need something, but they've eaten, they're been outside, they're really their nap time. In fact, Aston's in the room with me right here now, my little Bichon, napping away. It's a wonder he didn't jump up when he heard the other dog. Okay, so that's looking good. See how it just goes down? It's so pretty. I mean, just, So we're going to let that settle. And while we're going to do that, we're going to get started on these old mini collages. And like I say, I like to do these by the dozens. And then I have them for projects. What I do is I generally keep, like these plastic containers, baskets, just full of all of these little extra pieces and stuff. I have a long tray right here. And to kind of keep a hold and, on top of this, I just periodically go through and I make these little collage bundles. Now, I opened this one up because oftentimes what I'll do is I'll even take an old tea bag. I may take a tea bag that I may have had while I was here at the desk working, and I just take a piece of paper. This is actually cotton paper. I think this is 100% cotton, actually, because I like playing around with this paper. And a lot of times I'll then take it and stain it even further. But because we have these little tea bag marks here, I'm going to save that even if I stain the rest of the paper, because I think this is cool to be a basis or a foundation of a collage. So let's just go ahead and separate these. So these I'm going to separate. I'm going to leave them, the pieces, long, because I don't know what I'm going to ultimately do with them. So I'm going to take them and put them up here in one of the drawers that I put a lot of my extra pieces that I want to use in collage. Okay. Now what we're going to do with these, we're going to use the foundation. So I like to create sort of foundations and, where the collage starts. So I just get a few of these going. Some long, some short. And so, I mean, I'm just using this paper since I have it here. You can use any paper. It doesn't have to be. It could be scraps that you already have, like in this. I could just reach in here and grab one of these scraps and start building up on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let me just grab some stuff out. And then taking one of these foundations, and I know you guys have seen this before, but it's just a fun process to do periodically, and it also is nice to do when you're just kind of mindless. This is a great mindless activity while you're thinking about the questions that I presented in about perfection, as you're maybe really thinking about that. You don't want to do anything where, now Robin's got me thinking about something and I've got to also do some kind of complex artwork. Let's see, I don't want that there. I'll put this one here first. So what I'm doing is I'm just starting to build up bits. And so I get my first layer of glue down so that it all and literally just like intuitive for me, I'm just grabbing stuff, putting it down. And I build up so it kind of goes, and I do start extending off of the square. The square is just there as a foundation. Hold up, in fact, I'm using this one a lot right now, so I'll put this other one down out the way. And then I have room over here for my glue. It's called Getting Organized. You put the cap on this water too, that could be a disaster. All right, there we go. This is some of my intuitive scripting. And then another piece, so I kind of just work until I kind of reach a place that I really like. Just see what we can find in here. This little feather is neat. I like that, but I think I'll hold off on it for something else because I already kind of got a lot of pattern going on. Let's do this. Let's overlay sort of scripting with scripting. That could be cool. Okay. And really, honestly, I try my best not to overthink it. And, you know, I do sometimes. But I just remind myself, these are just quick little collages that you'll surprise yourself with being something that's really fun and useful. Now, I want another little layer right over here, but I kind of want to keep it neutral. So this is just a little piece of stained onion skin. Put that down. Okay, and we'll let this one stay, and that's one, you know, basically ready to go. And I'll just hold it up a little. So it seems like these little mini collages that, and a lot of times when I'm working, I'll even take the collage like that. And I will, that there. I might be working in a book, you know, on a book project, and wanting to put some interesting art on the page. And so a lot of times I will just even put some of those together. Like I'll then group collages together to create even a larger collage. So yeah, it's really just about being open to just play around with different small pieces of paper. And in the meantime, you're just getting rid of stuff in your stash that you do like, you know, they're just awful small. So you're trying to use them in a meaningful way. See, so I can just add that little piece there. So I might take something like this. And that'll go on here. But, oh, see, here's a bit of one that I had used and then tore a bit off of it, which is why you see these kind of odd pieces there. So this I can use now in this smaller one. That was probably from a larger. And I really do try to limit. This is nice because this has a bit of a book. It's from, you know, I glued onto a book page. And so you have this little raw edge of the book page, which is really nice to, let me just put glue on here, to be as an edge of this collage. Because now we're using that element that otherwise would be a throwaway, because it's a Gelli print on there as well. So let's go ahead and maybe put something like that down. And I'll put that over it. Let's look and see what we have here. I really like to go in and find all these little pieces. See, this is onion skin that I printed on, so you know I'm not getting rid of that. There, even that littlest piece, I will find a use for it. Because that onion skin's like gold. Okay, so this is coming along. Let's put something on the back there, because this is kind of hanging on by a thread, but I can take something else, maybe that has a little strength to it, and put it up the back. Let me just get some more glue there. Okay. So it kind of, you know, adds another edge there. So come, you know, just kind of work back and forth. Okay. I think that's looking pretty good. So this is a good place to stop on this one. And a lot of times, same thing. I'll make them, and then when I actually get to the point of using them, inevitably I'll add something else. Maybe I'll script. I can also maybe do a little gold leafing, or, you know, some other element to it. But it just gets these foundations going. All right, let's grab another one. So I have this paper there. Let's just see what we have here. Oh, getting awful messy here, aren't I? It's like that paper that is getting top heavy. So this is another piece from a collage of a photocopy of a collage. So this will be good to use on as a foundation. And what I would do is just find a larger sheet of paper. Something a little bigger. Let's see what I have in here. This is interesting because this is a print that I did of a temple, you know, that I was using in a collage, and then this is what's left of it. You see, I even made a little tag, and I feel like this could be really cool to go along with this Buddha, or sort of like Shiva or something. This could be really cool because it can kind of just, I can glue that on. So let's take a bit of this off. And we're going to line this up the same, just to get this element. Okay, so this is what I do. I just become inspired by, you know, my pack of throwaways, or I'm not going to throw them away, but my saves for projects like this. Oh, that's going to be good. So let's get this bit off the top. So hopefully this is one of the things that, you know, by now you've already stopped the video, went and got your bits and bobs, and working along together. Okay, so I'm liking that. Now, let me get some of my stays on in Ganesh. I like, it's a nice brown, and what I'll do is this edge that I tore, I actually am running it right on the top. I'm not rubbing over it into the picture, because I like the way it'll just pick up the ink and just start running a bit into the paper. And what it also does, it forms a line. It's like a frame. It's very subtle. But you try running an image like this. Let me see if I can show you the difference already. See how you kind of see like a dark, I don't know if you can see that, a dark line that's here starting to, let me see, form, where this is still white edge there. It's just like little things. Try it yourself with your ink pads. Don't rub into the picture. We don't want that. You just want this really subtle framing. And I'm telling you, it will make the difference in your prints for sure. Now see, all of a sudden, as opposed to having a white edge, we have that little dark edge going across the top. So I'm going to just take a piece of this, and let's just go ahead and get glue on it. So I want to glue this up. Okay. And we're going to take this, put it down, and then we're going to take this and match it up over, because I'm only putting, let me just put a little bit of glue at this edge. I'm only just putting a little bit of this paper over top of this because I want to try to keep as much of that image as possible. So then that means we're using this backing piece to hold it all together. So this piece right here, you know, becomes a thing that binds it. Okay. And then we'll just tear this off. Okay. Now I can add more to this. Oops. Cut that. So I can add more to this, or for right now I can leave it like it is because it becomes a foundation for other bits and pieces. But I did see this, so I think I'm going to work this down an edge, just an edge. So let me go ahead and just rip this little bit. And because this is, again, onion skin, so it's translucent, when I put it down, you know, we're still going to see the image underneath it. And this will kind of disappear as just a layer. Okay. So I think something like that's good. Let's go ahead and glue it up. Time it. Don't want to not watch my camera and then it stopped and I'm just talking away. Won't be the first time that's happened. Okay, so okay, there we go. That's nice. And sometimes what I do is then, like, I'll put this piece aside and you can see on the back where you get that little line, which is framing it. So a lot of times what I'll do is stop it here because I will definitely be adding more. But maybe I don't see it in front of me exactly what I want to add yet. I do like that. I keep on saying, I don't know. So I'll put it to the side. And then I'm looking at it with the idea that I'll keep on adding to it. And what it does is it just starts allowing me to have all these bits like this right here. This is definitely frameable stuff. So like I could take this bit right here. And each one of these scripted pieces could then become the center of a collage. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and do this like this. And then this may be on I could do that, but I want to do something a little more exciting. See how we're going to put this together. I'm having a tendency to put this down like, oh, there we are. I wanted to find something interesting to lay it against, not just. That's nice. See, that becomes an element in itself. So let's go ahead and glue the back of this. And put that down on that piece, which is also, that's some, the calligraphy paper that I stained, and actually, it's kind of like just throwaway part of a Gelli print that, because there's some paint on there, and, oh, it was this side there. Yeah, so let's just do this side. All right. See, that's a perfect little element. Of course, we could add more to it, but that's just ready to go. So it's just looking differently at all our little bits and pieces. Okay, I'm keeping an eye on the time so it doesn't just stop on me. So, oh, this bit is nice. Let me see. See, this neutral could be really nice on this piece here. So let's just tear some. So on this, we can put something like that. Let me get rid of these sticky pieces of paper. They are no good. Let's see. So I think I'm going to glue it right up to about here because I don't want glue on that part that's hanging down. Okay. So put on this stained paper. Okay. That's good. Let's see what I have here. See, I really do kind of limit. Well, this is a good piece to go. Put that there, because I get distracted. Okay, so let's look in here and see what else. I have a lot of these stamps that I have been using. Oh, this is nice. This is a butterfly stamp of Czechoslovakia. I don't know. Can we get it to? Come on. There we are. I think that would be just nice down as a piece on its own. So see, a lot of these we're just going to use and, you know, collage onto other. A lot of these I do use in my book projects too. So when I'm adding just information to those projects, I oftentimes grab for these little collage as basis to the page. And it also helps me with my storyline too, as I'm thinking about what's going to go in the book. So these stamps were done on onion skin as well. Okay, so I'm going to put this down on here. And my latest book that you know is out for the the limited edition. A lot of these things we were using in the mail art because we just did a whole journey down, being inspired by mail art, etc. So I like to print them on good paper too, this onion skin, because I know that it's going to. So I'm going to stop with that one. Because I like that, and it's just enough plain that I can add to that when I'm in the moment of, I'm going to put some more glue on the back of this. Because this paper, I'd done a collage on, a book page. I think I probably used it as another collage element in one of my journals. And I like the fact that that thick paper is already on there. So let's hold on to that. So I'll just put a little better amount of glue down. And then we can add to this. It's like already ready to go. So let's see what we find. Now I want something. Oh, I like this. Okay, right in that moment, I felt it click off. I'm like, okay, I stopped. Okay, and see, then we can sort of see what's underneath there a little bit, and we get to start adding that staining in that we love. Maybe this is a good one to try, this little feather. This element. I might put that there because it just gives that bit of a little bit of natural element that's nice to have this sort of long piece that's ready just to be put in a book. So I'm going to put it down starting at the bottom so that when I smooth it up, I'm smoothing it, you know, the feather together. Excuse me. So sorry about that. Throat's a little frog in it. I'll just wipe a bit of that off and the rest of it will dry. So we'll let that dry. And we could find a little extra. Ooh. More onion skin. Maybe we'll just add this. I like the way this element seems to bring the eye down since we kind of have this happening that way. We'll put that there. And because it's onion skin, we're still going to see all of that, but it's going to tie all that together. Yes, we like that. So these are fun to make. And they're just like little mindless things to do. Maybe when you don't have an idea of really what you want to do in the studio, you know, you may be sitting there thinking, what do I want to do today? What is inspiring me? If nothing comes up right away, just start doing this kind of thing. And it will definitely lead you into other ideas. I like that. I like the way, you know, I was able to put that little bit there so it looks like the bottom part of the feather. And then it works down into the collage. It really ends nicely. So this piece is just great just for sticking on a page of a book that I'm working on. So there. Let's see. So we had this piece there that was a bit, this was from another collage I had worked on, and it was just a lot going on. I didn't really care for it. So I wanted to take that bit apart. But, you know, I still wanted the piece. No, I'm not going to use that. Let me just find. So I'm going to use most of that. So I need to find something to put it down on where, you know, a lot of the image can be covered up. I mean, a lot of whatever the paper, like this backing. This would be perfect. Because it's cool for this to get, you know. Yep, this is great. This is some of the painters masking paper that we've been using, that I talk about in some of my let me see, what do I want to do here? Do I want to keep this? Let me just let him out. Do I want to keep that rough edge, or do I want to? Go ahead, Ashley. Okay. Do I want to keep this rough edge, or do I want not to? I'm almost feeling like I don't. I feel like I want to get rid of that. I mean, like, you know, every edge doesn't need to be torn. So let's kind of even that bit up a little bit so that it'll go on here. And we still have that bit there, and I still have this gold going across the top of this. So it was just a little teeny bit of gold on there. So I'm kind of working with that. So if I put this down here like that, and then all this matches up, that's good. So let's just go ahead and add that. Okay. Okay. That looks good. Let's get rid of this little bit down there. Like, I don't really like, you know, this sticking out here, and then coming back, sticking out there. Let's just get rid of that little bit at the bottom. All those kind of little things I like to tweak, you know, just like if it doesn't look right to your eye, just get rid of it. Okay, so let's see. What do we want to do? Let's say we want to... Oh, that's nice. Let's just put a little bit of this across the top. Just adds a little bit more of the language to here. So it kind of starts bringing the eye up. Now this is a piece that I might just do some scripting with some red ink or something to join it. Oh, or white. That's what I'll use. I'll use my white scripting paints, and then that'll join all of this together. So let me see if I can get my hands on that. Because that idea's come to me, and I think it could be good. Let's just see. Got to dig in here and find where. Oh, here it is. Here's my white. Because it's already, you know, we already got enough going on here. You know, we got scripting, we got different languages. We have the Buddha or Kuan Yin. So, you know, we got some things going on here. So we don't really want to just keep on adding. But to me, it's still a little disjointed. So I want to bring those together. And this is one of the things that I do to bring them together. I use this Liquitex acrylic. So okay. So I just actually use the eyedropper. Okay, like that. Just a little something in that corner. So I'm going to let that set. And this Liquitex dries up so nicely. So see, it just adds a little element, but when it dries, you're going to see the white, but you're still going to see everything that's going on around it. It doesn't look like it's completely taken over. So I'm going to put that up here and let it dry. I remember that at the end. Alrighty. So let's see. Let's do another couple. Okay. Okay. Let's grab some of this, yeah? I like that across there, just like that. So we're just going to grab a little bit of glue right in the middle. And sometimes I don't over glue. I'm just putting it right in the middle so that if I decide I want to put things under or over it, I'll have that option. This is good. This is just some of the Indian paper with some of the writing on it, some of the Vedic script. Let's put that like that. See what else we can find here. I'm really liking this kind of neutral thing that's going on here. Let's see what we can do. I have so much fun making these, honestly. I just think, because it just allows me to revisit all my little bits and scripts and stuff that, I would have otherwise forgotten about. That's kind of cool there. Just looks like it's one of the plant elements. I'm gonna put that there because I can use that. That could even be good as a pocket inside of a book. So when I make these collages, a lot of times I'm thinking, oh, I could use this like this and that. Like this would be really cool as a pocket. I would just back it on some book page, you know, and then even add a little something more to that. So I'll keep it right to the side as I continue to think. This one we're still working on. So let me find what else. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's cool right there, yeah. Let's just put some glue along there. And then just put this in place. I flipped it because I like these little holes that the dictionary makes. And this is like from an Asian dictionary. I think it was Chinese. So those little thumb holes when I photographed it, or photocopied it. Let's put that there just to get a little extra stability. It's kind of weird that that piece is coming to just butt up. Not exactly, but almost. So we just add that little bit to it. Okay. See, so that adds nicely to it. And see, it still leaves me room here. So if I want to use my different chops, you guys know how I like using these different chops in the red, or these iron ones that I have. Then I can actually add seals, or I can add anything else to it, or even stamps when I actually go to use this piece. You know what I mean? So we can stop there. Everything, let's still use the 90% rule, you know, where we kind of stop at a place. So let's do one more, time permitting. And then we'll take a look at what we've done. And then we're going to pick one of those. And we're going to put it on our page. And so this week, we can use some of these in our journals. So this is a book page that I then photocopied an old letter on. And this is actually some Gelli printing with Tim Holtz. What is this? This is moss. Something moss. So I like that. So let's just find something here. These are just like the off. When I make my Gelli Junkadories, there's always an off. These are all the side, you know, the edges of the papers that are not going to go on there. That's good. And we like that little stained bit. So I'm just going to rip this at the top. And then we're just going to put this here. So like I said, we're just making these little mini collages from all the bits and pieces. That's nice. So let's see, what stamp do I have? I know I have some more stamps in here. Here they are. Let's see what we can find. Should have some small ones. I think these are all too big. This one's nice. Let's use this little one. So I'm going to take my shears, and I go around once, just cutting right next to the stamp. So you get that regular kind of shear, you know, pinking shears. And then what I do is I cut right back on top, right into each of those peaks. So right in the middle. And it gives you more of that stamp look. I don't know if you can see that, but oh, come on. You can see it gives you more of the serrated or the perforated versus the even peak. So I just go back into it like that and make it look like a stamp. Now this is a photocopy of a stamp on onion skin. And this would be great for I like that. That's just a neat element, you know, for a journal page or something related to. See, I don't want to take away all of that. Let's just see if we tear a little bit of it. Something to put in here. Well, that's good. Just another little piece of information there that'll add to what we're doing. Okay. Okay. Good. And then this we glue down. Okay. Good. So this is a nice, it's another nice little part that got glued down, but it's okay. I wonder if I can put that little bit right back. Yeah, I can. It's just crooked now. Okay. So we got it back on there because I did like it. Okay, so this is just another little bit. Just these little mini collages, you know, nothing over the top, nothing that you have to think real hard on or anything. It's just fun, and it's a great way to practice sort of kind of giving up on perfection too, because you're just taking what's in front of you and you're just allowing yourself just to be intuitive. And I know a lot of times people will comment, goodness, you know, like it amazes me that you'll like just do something, just pick up bits and pieces and you're right on camera showing us, and you end up with something that's really cool. Like, how do you do it? You know, and it's just been this type of practice, just practicing with sort of this intuitive approach to collaging, just kind of going with what's in front of me, not overthinking it, and having fun. Just throwing these bits away. Just having fun. And over time, you just really learn to start trusting yourself at what you know, at your choices. Okay, so let's look at what we've done. Just moving all this other stuff out the way. Okay, so we've done this little bit. So I'm going to pull the journals so that you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. So like, we'll just use this page as an example. So we're going to select one of these. But you know, you can have this in your stash, and let's say you pull it up and you're ready to, you think, oh, that's nice, you know. I mean, already that is nice, actually. You can put that down. So you know how you're doing your book as art, you're doing your journals, you're doing junk journals, you're making, you know, like that kind of thing. Well, when you have a lot of these ready, when you flip to a page that you want to put something on it, you know, just work from these. Like, this would be great. You wouldn't really need anything else. And it just makes a nice focal point. So we have that. Let me just get these bits. So we have this one, which was our first collage. So just kind of, you know, that could focus in on a page. Or like I was saying, oftentimes what I'll do is I'll take a few of them and start, let's say put that one like that. I would start, this page isn't big enough for this, but let me do something else. Like maybe these two. I might just start adding them together on a page. So I might say, okay, I like that there. And this kind of works over it. And it's mail art. You see what I'm saying? Or I might just kind of maybe do it like this. This works nicely because it's all the greens and stuff. So I might just start putting a couple of them together to make a larger collage just by taking smaller collages and putting them together. And just keep on adding until you've decided, oh, I really like that. So maybe this is a page, and maybe down here, if I glue this up here, maybe down here, this becomes my pocket, right? So I'll back it, and then this becomes a pocket on the page. So, you know, when you make these, you got a lot of options. So these are nice. And this one, because I talk about it being a pocket, I just take a bit of this, my glue pages that I'm throwing away because they've gotten really sticky, except for this one's dried by now. So I just will take this, and I'll take an old glue page, and I'll just use this as the backing for a pocket. So let's say we'll just put this down here and let it dry, and then I'll come back and just rip it off. I'll show you. And then this is ready. This will be ready for a pocket. So we'll come back to that. So here's the one of these we did. That looks nice. See how this just looks like a nice collage just right on this paper like that? Like that. We already looked at that. Here's another one that we did. So you guys are getting the idea. You can literally do some of these, you know, and then you're journaling during the week. You know, you can decide, you know, what kind of background you're going to use. I'm going to use these backgrounds for the rest of the week. And then I'll put the small collages on top. So I'll be doing more of these this week, probably on patrons. And we'll just make a lot of these and make some pockets and different things. And I do some belly bands, and then we'll fill the pages up. I like that there. And then we have this one. So I definitely was influenced by the background of this paper doing these collages, because look, that looks good. That works nicely there. And then this one right here can be a tuck. It can be put down as a tuck spot. It can actually be what you call a belly band. You could actually just glue this on the top and the bottom, and then you know you have places to tuck things in on the page, but it still looks so much like a piece of art. Like no one would know that that's a belly band. You know, with people in the art journaling community or in the junk journaling community, which is called a belly band. You know, it's still like this neat tuck spot, but it looks like a finished piece of art. And that's how I like to work, to collage, to create my pages in my journals, in my book is art. I still want each page to just look like a piece of art, more so than a lot of collagey things that are sort of, what do you call that? They're beautiful, so it's not like it's a right or wrong or anything, because I do that myself. More of a montage. You know, like a lot of times in junk journals, it's more like of a montage of different elements coming together and beautifully. And I love that look. But I also like this idea of creating pages that in themselves just look like these simplistic works of art, but yet they're still functional, you know. So let's go ahead and rip this. I like to get these ripped edges on my pocket. So once I glue everything down, he has allergies, so he is, of course, needs to do his little honking right in front of mommy so that I know, I'm aware what's going on for him. But his allergies are bad this time of year. We've had him to the doctors. We've had MRIs. Literally, we had an MRI just a couple of months ago because they weren't sure. They wanted to make sure that it wasn't his heart, or his heart wasn't, you know, like being affected. $567 later for my little Bijan. It's this big. His MRI and his cat and a CAT scan where they were scanning the heart, the lungs, and basically he has a slightly enlarged heart, but that would be to be expected for a dog that's 15 years old. And his everything was basically fine though. He was in the range of what to be expected for his age. See how this could be just a neat pocket at the bottom of a page that just maybe just has this element on it. So that's why I love making these. So let's figure out which of these we're going to use. So yeah, he's doing fine. It's like it sounds worse than what it is. Fortunately, because we weren't sure. We were like, oh my God, you know, we were all crying and teary-eyed and everything when the doctor said it could be that. And I'm gonna put this here because I just want these to be I want to make these really simple, beautiful little collages that play off of these background papers. So this is going to go there as an art element. So just go ahead and apply some glue. We'll use a Giotto because I really want to get a good seal. I want this to go down flat. I'm going to really just integrate with this page. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and just gives you some fun things to focus on, or maybe to bring back to your memory making these little things. There's a lot of the gals in the community do this idea. I think Shabby Dabby Doodah, I love the name of her channel. She started this idea of this mask making a year and a half or more ago, and you know, as a topic for videos. You know, we were all doing this. I mean, I've done this kind of thing for years, of course, because that's just how I create. But as this idea, this topic for videos, and I thought it was brilliant to have like mask making videos. You can sit, you hang out with your community, you talk, and you just show your way of collaging or thinking about materials. Just brilliant, Miss Shabby Dabby Doodah. So I love that there. And here we have it. I mean, look at that, just like such a beautiful, perfect little collage. All we would need to do is drop like a neat vintage frame. I've been collecting vintage frames because a lot of my collages, I've said this to my community, I just love the look of like early 19th century or early 20th century, like in the early 1900s, of like, you know, the collage of Braque and Picasso and, you know, Matisse, all of the, you know, but the abstract, also like Antonio Tapie, just the abstract pieces that they were doing, but they were still being dropped in them crazy 18th century thick gilded golded frames in 19th century. And I'm just bringing that back to my artwork. So I have been just really scouring antique stores for these old frames, and you really have to find them at the antique stores because they just don't seem to get out in circulation anymore. Every now and then you can find them at Goodwills and places like that. And then just popping these art in those old frames, that look of ornate gilt, I just think is cool. So something like this would be really pretty in there. So there we have it. Maybe I'll actually, if I have a small enough frame, I might just frame it. Well, I just have to drop the frame on top of it and take a picture of it, and I'll put it in the picture for the post of this video so you guys can see what I'm saying. So take a look at that. Alrighty, I think that's everything. Wow, we had a good hangout, and I'm just coming up on 30 minutes for the close of this video. So love you guys. Please thumb it up if you enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel so you get all the notifications. And love you guys so much. And I think that's everything. I think today is the last day for my book. If you haven't already jumped on and bought it, so many of you have done the pre-sale. And that's everything. So take care. Love you guys. Bye-bye.